So we're seeing pretty major shifts in how industries operate. And one of the key things is AI. AI is becoming a big part of these changes in lots of industries. And I think that event management is not going to be an exception. So in terms of the big picture, I think there's about three things that we're seeing that really stand out. And I think the first one is smaller teams can do more. And that's happening across the industry. And I think with the fact that AI is taking, actually helping people with the admin, really sort of like repetitive work, especially in events. Sure, there's lots of repetitive work, there's lots of schedules and comms and lots of questions, just the same questions being answered. I think that it's really shifting what small teams can do, and what is that advantage that's coming up in event management.
So yeah, I mean, if organizing events is really dependent on the human resources, and a lot of these human resources are really eaten up by this repetitive work, especially answering attendee questions, doing all this reporting for different sponsors, etc. So there's a lot of repetitive work, and being able to reduce this means we can reduce the costs of human resources, because we can do more with the existing teams. Similarly, if we have community events that really rely on volunteers, and we know it's hard to get those volunteers and to keep those volunteers, giving them those tools to be more effective, or even having, a wider volunteer base, but then everyone might have to do a bit less, will really help to will really help to develop a more positive volunteer experience, and that hopefully then means you can keep those volunteers longer. Yes.
So that's almost like a big benefit for really lean teams. They can really scale. And I think the other thing too is that it's really accessible, right? The AI tools are accessible. They're not prohibitive in terms of costs. We always talk about the fact that one of the reasons why AI is being picked up and so quickly is because it's in your mobile, it's in your pocket. I think there's a lot of tools, and even if it just starts with ChatGPT or one of the or Claude, it's right there. It's not very expensive. And I think that, as you mentioned, with the community events where they are, time poor and they're also revenue poor, it can really be leverage.
If you think of, the sophistication of communication that is expected nowadays, sending all those personalized messages, SMS, via the app if it's a business event, but also putting all this stuff on social media and reminding people over and over in similar messages, but kind of the same.
Yes.
So having this automation of creating this communication, similar communication, you can say along which lines, and then automatically posting it on whichever platforms you want to, really eases up the burden.
Admin burden. Yeah. And what you said was really interesting at the beginning. It's that personalized messages.
Yeah.
I think one thing, AI is really shifting what personalization means. I think it's with that at scale too, the ability for it to consume data and understand what people want, and also to give a personalized experience, which is what you talked about. But I don't think that's just messages, right? I think it's even the actual events themselves.
Yes. So, I mean, we have been talking about this for a while, that the generic event model is dying. You're not competitive. There's too many events that offer the same thing. And you're just not going to succeed and get those people unless you offer more personalized experiences. And attendees demand them more and more. They want events that are aligned with their interests, programming that they can personalize, that work towards that image they have of themselves, but also the image they want to, the person they think they want to become.
Yes.
So offering this ability to really personalize this event experience is key to succeed as an event.
And do you think then that, because I think these days, and I especially think in the event of AI, in real life experiences are even more important.
Yes.
And is it almost as, besides the fact it's personalized and what you just said about, making sure that it's me, actually networking is really important.
Networking or socializing, if it's a private event, there's personal one-on-one that that you're able to develop like trust a lot easier. If you think of business events, matchmaking, on the spot, real-time recommendations. So you meet up with people that will be helpful for your future and your company, but also this will mean the impact of the event will actually be bigger, right? Because you are helping individuals to fulfill this networking purpose that they have. For more social events, leisure events, you certainly have this socializing element, but also there, a lot of people nowadays might feel more alone, and events give this opportunity to meet new people. So if you
never thought that way,
if you are able to support this and offer them these moments of happiness, interacting with other people, which is one of those key purposes of events, then, or maybe even meeting people who are different when we talk about social cohesion, etc. This is what events can help with, and AI can really support fulfilling this purpose.
Yeah. So that then is actually really, if you think about it, it's that use of AI, it's getting really important. It's almost, there's a gap happening, right? So the teams that use AI and the teams that don't, it's almost, if you do, it's such an advantage at this point. And I do align the event management industry. They've picked up a lot of, like, marketing has been hugely impacted by AI. And I think there's a lot of elements that are the same for both of them in terms of the communications and the marketing and other promotions and so forth. I think that there's almost I think there is a gap that's widening between teams that are AI enabled and everyone who's not, because it's always so manual. And I think what you talked about, this real-time matchmaking and so forth, I think that's got to be a really big impact in the event management industry right now.
So I think events in general many event managers are at the forefront of taking up new technologies, etc.
Yes.
So you
they're
can,
like marketing, aren't they? I think
they're really
aligned,
at the forefront. If you go to a business event, there's automatic capturing of the content now, and you can just package this and put it straight on your social media, etc. So similarly, reporting, they're talking about using AI even for website building, etc. So a lot of event organizers are at the forefront, but then you have, like we talked about, for example, community events where you're so busy with your day-to-day job, you might not have the time to really look into AI, to develop these skills to then use it and make
it easier
your work easier. Yes. So this gap is really widening, and between those who are still using manual processes and, have those Excel spreadsheets and the run sheets, and those who are really, well, you still have them, but starting from scratch or reusing the same thing and not trying to make it different because it's too much work, right?
Yeah.
So, and on the other side of the spectrum, you have those who are using it for content development, for event conceptualization, programming, reporting, marketing, like you said, and therefore also for decision making. And often this is then much more based on data, etc., than on, well, I just think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. You're actually getting real-time feedback, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think those are the kind of the three big key shifts then in the big picture. It's got, one is personalization is really important, and the generic model is dying, but that's made possible too by the fact that we're changing how everything's designed, delivered, and people can do more with what they have. Smaller teams, they can scale like a large team. It's not really about just a large team anymore. And I think you've got to know the skill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great. Well, let's look at what that means at a day-to-day level for event management. Thank you.
Yep.